Here's a greeting fit for a queen, and it is for a queen. The King's Troop of the Royal Horse Artillery fires a 41-gun salute in London's Hyde Park in honour of Her Majesty's birthday.
Right, on foot. Fire!
And here's a greeting from the Queen to a centenarian. Mrs. Minnie Wolfe, in the Eileen Goodenday Old People's Home in London, receives the traditional telegram on her 100th birthday. Greetings telegrams were started by the Post Office in 1935 with one decorated form. Today there are 6, each for a different occasion. About 28,000 greetings telegrams are sent in Britain every year, but this, like the ordinary telegram service, is run at a loss. In the world of good wishes, however, the greetings card industry is booming. Never have so many cards been sent by so many people. In the last 10 years, the industry's yearly turnover has risen to well over £50 million. There are even shops today which sell nothing but greetings cards. And if many cards sold in Britain have a transatlantic look, that's not surprising. The industry today is about a quarter American-owned, and about 3/4 of Britain's cards are designed in the United States. Like the trade itself, cards are getting bigger. Some of them even say it with music. Today there's a card for every event. You might say, from the cradle to the grave. More than 1,750 million are sold in Britain every year. About 40% of them are Christmas cards. And here the National Gallery and some of the museums come into the picture with reproductions of works of art. This was the first Christmas card ever, designed in 1843 for Henry Cole, a friend of the Prince Consort, who had left it too late to write all his Christmas letters. More than 650 million Christmas cards are sent in Britain every year, an increase of about 142 million in the last 10 years. They're an annual headache for the Post Office, which uses electronic machines like this to separate sealed from tucked-in letters at the rate of about 20,000 an hour. There are more than 100 greetings card firms up and down the country, but most of the cards come from about 40 of them. This huge press, which prints 4 colors consecutively, and which can turn out 7,000 sheets of cards an hour, is used by one of the 2 biggest American-owned companies. Most of the elaborate greetings cards, many of them of padded satin, are assembled by hand, usually by women. And it's women who buy 75% of all greetings cards. Special occasion cards becoming more and more popular are Mother's and Father's Days, with St. Valentine's Day holding its own. These are not the sort of cards which most people would buy by the dozen. Some of them, with their ornate trappings, run into several pounds each. Yet, there's a market for them. The operation going on here is nothing more surgical than sticking novelties onto cards that have just been decorated with flock. The masks are there to protect the workers from breathing in particles of it. They're working at another big American-owned company, one of whose specialities is novelty cards, particularly for children. How long will the boom in cards go on? Sales are still soaring, though some big concerns, including British Rail and the Coal Board, no longer send Christmas cards. Most of this firm's designs come from America, as do the verses inside, what the Americans call the sentiments. There are 14,000 verses in these files, an appropriate verse, says the firm, for just every occasion. Many firms employ their own verse writers. Winnie Groves, who's been on the staff of a Dundee firm for 40 years, has written about 80,000 verses. Some firms employ their own full-time artists. Susan Goldsworthy went to this century-old still British company straight from art school 3 years ago. Some rely on freelance artists. The landscape painter, Roland Hilder, works in his Blackheath studio on a Kent scene for Christmas cards, produced by another old-established family firm specializing in reproductions of fine artwork. This firm has some highly advanced printing equipment. A high-speed electronic scanning machine separates the picture into 4 negatives for yellow, red, blue, and black. From these, the aluminium plates are made, which print the colored pictures. Like others, this company is finding more and more foreign markets for its typically British cards. Export of cards from Britain to over 100 countries has risen from 1.25 to 5.5 million dozens in 20 years. By no means lost among the giants is what started as a one-man business producing cards of distinctive design, many of them the work of one artist. Today, it exports 25% of its cards throughout the world, the largest customer being the United States, the home of social expressions, as the Americans call the modern greetings card industry. And the odd thing for a country which goes heavily for sentiment is that they carry no sentimental verses, just a few words of greeting. Today, more than 100 charities sell Christmas cards, and these take about 7.5% of the market. The turnover is considerable, but printing and administrative costs reduce the charity's percentage. And while some get very little back for the funds, they still think it worth doing because of the appeal value of their names on the cards. No one is forgotten in the greetings card race, not even the dog. Doesn't your dog want to send a birthday card to that dog up the road? No? Well, he'd probably eat it too. If you don't send cards, you can, of course, always say it with flowers through one of the florist's international services, which today arrange to deliver them with a personal message to any address in the world. That includes, of course, the girlfriend in the next town. But better still, why not deliver your greetings yourself? At Hungerford, down in Berkshire, they still keep up the old Hocktide custom of the tutty men, who, with bouquets on long staves, dress up to greet the girls. It's got a lot to be said for it.